Good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock on April 4th, 2023, time for the meeting of the Gallatin City Council. We begin the meeting like we do each of our meetings with the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask you to stand with me as Councilman Carter leads us in the prayer and Councilman Hayes leads us in the pledge.
May we bow. Dear Lord, we thank you for traveling grace to be here. We ask that you give us traveling grace as we travel to our homes this evening. Lord, we ask that you place a special hedge of protection around the families that were affected by the Covenant school shooting. Lord, we ask that you would just be peace and love all through this nation and in this city and in our county. We ask that you would help us to come together and be unified as we do the business for Sumner County and for Gallatin. In your name we pray and we do ask it all. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me to pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Peace and love throughout. I like that, Councilman Carter. Good goal. Ms. Kitchell, if you would call the roll for us, please.
Vice Mayor Love,
Here.
Councilman Carter,
Present.
Councilman Fan,
Here.
Councilman Fennell,
Here.
Councilwoman George,
Here.
Councilman Hayes,
Present.
and Councilman Juvance.
Present.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you so much. You all have the minutes from the March 7th, 2023 City Council meeting before you for consideration.
Motion to send it, motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Vice Mayor Love, second by Councilwoman George. Any additions, corrections? All in favor of approving the March 7th, 2023 council meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are unanimously approved. Before we move to public recognition on agenda-related items, I have two items. One, with this council's agreement, we are going to defer this evening item number 9, which is Resolution R2303-30, which is the authorization of the property owner and applicant to submit an application for annexation of 186.92 acres into the city located south of Hartsville Pike and west of Berry Lane. So if everyone's okay with that, that will be deferred this evening. Okay, and then the second item I have is a very special proclamation to present, and that proclamation is to Mr. Liam Alexander, and so I'm going to ask he and his family to join me at the podium, please. Mr. Liam Alexander is the young one here, younger one, right? In addition to all that I'm about to tell you about him, he has also just been recognized as the VFW Eagle Scout of the Year and is one of the recipients of the Governor's Volunteer Star Awards. So that is very, very cool. You've done so much for our community. I'm so proud to be able to recognize you this evening. And so I'm going to read this proclamation before I present it to you. It says, whereas Liam Alexander was born on March 28, 2007, and is a lifelong resident of Gallatin, Tennessee. And whereas Liam is a sophomore at Pope John Paul II Preparatory School and a member of the school's jazz ensemble pep band and plays drums in a local rock shop band. And whereas he participates in Model UN and received an award for Outstanding Resolution in 2021 and participates in Youth in Government. And whereas Liam is a Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow, in which he serves as chapter vice chief. And whereas he belongs to Troop 407 in Gallatin and has held several leadership positions, including patrol leader, senior patrol leader, and OA representative, and has earned 65 merit badges and several extra awards, including the James Stewart Good Citizenship Award, International Spirit Award, Messengers of Peace Award, and recently celebrated his Achievement of Eagle Scout Award. And whereas he is a model citizen and committed to helping others in his community. And whereas Liam is a recipient of the Governor's Volunteer Stars Award and was acknowledged by State Representative William Lamberth on March 21st, 2023, now therefore I, Paige Brown, Mayor of the City of Gallatin, do hereby honor and recognize Liam Alexander for his many accomplishments and selfless service to others. So congratulations, Mr. Alexander. Thank you so much. And for those of you who don't know know, his Eagle Scout project was the Hawkins Alley, which is over beside the chamber. He did a beautiful job with the landscaping and the installations there, including, was it a blessing box or a library box? Blessing, both. Okay, blessing box and a library box. So I am so honored to present this to you this evening, and I will come over here and do this. Okay, let's give another round of applause for Mr. Alexander. Quite a commitment. Y'all are free to leave the meeting now if you would like to. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. Okay, we will move now to public recognition on agenda-related items. This is the time of the meeting that anyone's here who wishes to speak to any item on the evening's agenda may do so. We ask that you give us your name, your address, and you'll have 5 minutes to speak. There is also a period of time at the end of the meeting, public recognition on non-agenda-related items, at which time you can address items that aren't on the agenda. Rules are the same there, but right now, public recognition on agenda-related items is now open, and you may come forward if you wish to speak.
Hello, everybody. My name is Matt Kwazik. I live in Nashville, not Gallatin. If I just want to, I don't know if it's allowed or what, but I want to introduce myself. I am the broker that is representing the Green family to sell their land. I just wanted to kind of introduce myself and give you their position. They've had lovely family memories on that farm from their grandparents and whatnot. The family now in their second and third generation, it's just time for them to move on. It's time for them to look for an exit, and they look forward to a vibrant, healthy community that would help service Gallatin, and just wanted to put a face to the family a little bit, and also just say that they are planning to pursue a development of some sort in one way or another, and hope to do it in a acceptable fashion for all parties. So again, Matt Kwazik, Kimbark Drive of Nashville. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Lisa McDowell, 1031 East Nickel Circle, Gallatin. I tried to think of something to say that hasn't already been said by several people and ignored pretty much. But I thought the best use of time might be a reminder of the projects existing and looking forward. They look different when you have to listen to a long list provided by the city site. Underway, Cumberland Point, 100 townhomes, Kensington Road, two single-family, 24 townhomes, the Knoll at Fairview, 211 attached townhomes, Lakeford Farms, 262 single-family, McCain Station, 112 single-family, 195 multifamily townhomes, 377 townhomes, flats. Meadowview Glen at Fairview Farms, undisclosed, Newman's Crossing, 98 attached townhomes, Nexus, Tennessee, 1,350 single-family, 900 multifamily. Nichols Place, undisclosed, Oxford Station, 110 townhomes, 42 single-family. Paddocks at Kennesaw, 632 single-family detached, 56 single-family attached, 682 multifamily. Patterson Farms, 144 single-family, 62 attached townhomes, and a coffee shop and a diner. Red River Townhomes, 83 dwellings, multi-family condos. The residents of McCain Station, 297 multifamily. Reverie Point, 28 attached units. Tompkins Farms, 87 single-family. Trails at Hunters Point, 216 apartments. Villas on the Green, 68 attached townhomes. Vinewood Townhomes, 50 townhomes, Westfield mixed use, 112 single family, 130 single family attached, 18 townhomes, 284 multifamily, Windsong, 44 single family detached, 161 multifamily, 95 multifamily townhomes, and 284 apartments, Winston Place, 109 single families. Recent approvals finalized. 1024 Hartsville Pike, 10-unit townhome, Bella Vista, 29 single-family, Bledsoe Springs, 131 fee simple townhomes, Cumberland Landing, 101 single-family, Fox Creek, 145 single-family, R8. Foxland Harbor, 64-unit condominiums, Gallatin Housing Authority duplex additions undisclosed. Holland Property, 52 single-family, Lashley Grove, 34-unit duplexes, The Meadows, Phase 1A, 20 single-family, Nexus, Tennessee, multiple family, Phase 1, 300-unit apartments, Triple B Apartments, 20-unit apartment complex, Twin Eagles, Phase 15, 170 single-family, Vintage Baker Crossing, 252 multifamily, Walnut Crest Townhomes, 150 multifamily, Woods Crossing, 99 single-family, recent approvals preliminary, 909 Nashville Pike, undisclosed residential, Atlas Townhomes, 161 townhomes, Harris Lane condos, 138 units, The Meadows, zoned R8, undisclosed, Oak Hill, undisclosed. Pending approval on agendas, Griffin Farm, mixed use, Holloway, Drivers Lane, 54 townhomes, Laurelwood townhomes, R10 townhomes undisclosed. That is, the best I could count, which is probably low, 1,710 townhomes, 3,698 single-family residences, 2,659 multifamily residents, 285 condos, 34 duplexes, and 1,106 apartments. Doesn't include the 7 projects with non-disclosed units, and it does not include the proposed projects like Lot 4 and Hartsville Pike. In addition, I'd like you to rethink the stated opinions that wanting to preserve that beautiful piece of land on Lot 4 is selfish of the property owners that exist today. And remind you that the area recently and carelessly, selfishly changed to suburban character is not in our city's core. It's on the edge of our city. My neighborhood, just in the last few years, got the sewer that they were promised 30 years prior when they were annexed into the city. And I want to remind you with the greatest respect that when you vote for things that you know your constituents are against, you're voting against the people who elected you. Thank you.
Second to spare.
Perfect timing.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, Todd Alexander, 217 Strange Circle. A few weeks ago, I came and addressed you concerning the Griffin Park North and talked about the traffic. And as I walked in that night to the meeting, a city employee was at the door. There was 3 or 4 other people with me, and he made the comment, "It's the same old troublemakers, here they come." I hope that was a one-person sentiment and not the feeling of this council and mayor, that they would see somebody, a citizen, who comes and addresses you as a troublemaker. I started to give him a lesson on First Amendment, the Constitution that I swore an oath to multiple times in my life in the military and law enforcement, as well as the Tennessee Constitution, Section 23, which says I have a right to address my elected officials and instruct them on how I want them to vote. So I hope that was a one-off. I hope you don't see me as a troublemaker. I talked about traffic at Griffin Park North, and Councilman Jovance was kind enough a couple, 3 weeks ago to listen to an idea I had about what can we do down the future to get traffic information earlier in the process. And I think that was maybe a consensus of the council, that we need this information earlier rather than at the final master development plan stage. And so he was kind enough to listen to me and said, I think that's a valid idea. I forwarded it to the city attorney. Thank you for a prompt response. And she was going to share that with planning and engineering and streets and whoever else can make it happen. And I do appreciate that. I don't come just to complain. I want to be part of the solution as well. And if I have an idea that can help, by all means, I'm going to present those things. Last thing I want to talk about is just all the annexations. Plan Gallatin, there's a section on page 46 that says preserving character. Preserving character. The Planning Commission did not even take that into consideration in their last meeting 2 weeks ago, yesterday. And so I just appeal to you tonight. I know this is the Planning Commission's plan and the council hasn't adopted it. But the very first thing on page 48, when it says characteristics worth preserving, the number one thing is rural countryside. I'm all for the Green family having the right to develop their property by all means. I'd love for them to do that in the county and not annexed into the city. That's how I would like to see it happen. I want to instruct you the same way. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, folks. It's Patrick Greeners, 317 Malone Drive, and I really wasn't going to speak during this part, but I agree a lot with that, what the guy said about the First Amendment and about this development. I'm glad the city's owning up the property rights because there's a lot of groups out here that boast that they want people that support property rights. And I'll be darned if I'm going to call my neighbor any kind of names because they want to do what they want to do with their property. And I believe everyone has a right to free speech, but I also look at how many churches are abandoned all week and all the schools they say they don't have, and they could put chairs up in them churches and have enough room and enough places to have school for people. Pretty easy. So I think the solutions are a lot better way to go, and I appreciate the comments that were made by the public tonight. I think they were original. But I don't think people are really labeled as troublemakers. I think if someone can access a direct lie and identify it, it should be pointed out. Otherwise, people get their opinion. Just like the people that want to sell their property. I like it. Thank you, guys.
Hi, Mayor, council members. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm John Griffin. My address is 55 Poplar Street, Newport, Rhode Island. If you're saying what's with the Rhode Island address, I grew up here. I grew up on Griffin Farm North. We didn't call it that then. It was just home. But I graduated from Gallatin High, went to college, and then spent the next 30 years in the Navy. Rhode Island was my last duty station. My daughter was 6.5. She'd already moved 3 times, and we decided we'd call that home for a little bit. I'm sorry we couldn't make it in for the public hearing, but and I think Mr. Cook covered our points. I don't want to rehash that with you for the sake of time. I think he did that. I just wanted to be here tonight to express my support, obviously, for this project and to ask for your support as well. Thank you very much.
Griffin.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name's Danny Bryan, 77 Earl Steele Road East, Brush Creek, Tennessee. And we are here as part of the Griffin family as well. And we wanted the council to see, we're the family that owns the farm. So, we're kind of the ones that are feel like we're being attacked and not the developers. Developers do not own the farm yet. We're still owning the farm. Now, I have to commend the mayor because the mayor was right on target. We have 40 acres that can support a large number of people without creating a lot of urban sprawl, and it's better for the environment than to put up a bunch of houses. It saves natural resources. It involves water conservation. There's just many, many, many things. I know this stuff. I have a PhD in environmental science. specialty is endangered species and biology professor. So I know kind of what goes on when we start developing land. We're looking at 40 acres, and if you've seen this development plan, it's very aesthetically pleasing, and it has retail in the plan. Now, along with that property are some commercial lots along Long Hollow Pike. We really need the infrastructure of this development to support those commercial lots. You know, we've worked with the city. Mr. Kellogg, as it was mentioned, somebody came on the property and dumped a lot of material on the sewer line, right of way. Mr. Kellogg came in, cleaned it up, and put a gate up to stop access to the property. The city worked with us with that, and we greatly, the family greatly appreciates that. I hope you understand, we support the development. It's really an aesthetically pleasing, and we need that to support those commercial lots up ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan.
Randall Hack, 110 Spencer Springs, Gallatin. Good evening, council. I was here last week, and I don't want to reiterate the same points, but the fact that I did go through the plan. Gallatin are against the annexation area of specifically those 168 acres and the 64-acre townhome area. I'm just interested in the idea that, you know, the buzzword we hear a lot is in 100 years, this is what we're going to miss out on. I think I'm going to ask the question that in 100 years, I think my grandkids and my great-grandkids are going to ask, what happened to all the beauty that were in all the pictures you had, Grandpa? I read in the Tennessean a couple of weeks ago that the rate of move-ins have dropped from 100 people a day to 49 people a day, which, again, is certainly a lot, but given the fact that we are not the only town in the area that's annexing, I think at some point, housing is going to be finite in terms of how many people we have, and what will happen is we'll end up having islands of dilapidated townhomes at some point. I am totally adamantly against the annexation process, and I urge you to keep us in the rural zoning and let the township area, Sumner County, take care of that. But that said, last week, Mr. Fenton was in here saying that 3 companies were already begging for that property. Kind of concerns me because we don't know anything about it, and if 3 companies are looking for that property, I assume they're big ones. The people in Spencer Springs and over on Berry Lane already hear the hum of the Facebook data center constantly now, along with the lighting and things like that. And we would just request that if this annexation request process goes through, that it should be a little less transparent. It's our quality of life out there. It is our property values that are all impacted. And like I said, so I'm against it. Most of my residents I talk to are against it. But we understand if it does move through, we're just asking that we can be a part of it and have some transparency to what is really going on. What is the definition of light industrial? Because like I said, I think our biggest fear is, you know, rumors already going around, Oracle's gonna put a data center there. You know, and again, that's a complete rumor, but I can certainly see why people are thinking that, grab a quick 50 acres, and we have it. So, again, this annexation is against your plan, Gallatin, that's my main point, but if it does progress, I would certainly love to see some sort of transparency in the process of what's happening next. Thank you for letting me address you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak this evening?
Hello. Chris Sanders, 1320 Berry Lane. Come here just about every meeting. I don't know why I keep coming. So, but at the same time, it's good to see the family from the land in question representing themselves, you know, coming here to give their side of the story, and I totally understand that. And, you know, it seems like we got a bunch of different representations here. You guys got your own interests, they've got their interests, you got the guy from Nashville representing the land. I don't feel like we got any interest coming out from us that's being represented. So we kind of have to represent ourselves, it feels like. So I understand that people coming in from out of town and giving their side of the story, but we're stuck there. We live there. They don't live there. So whatever you put in that place, we're stuck with. So my taxes are gonna go up. And if I'm not mistaken, if you bring sewer out there, I've got to connect to that thing, correct? Does anybody back me up on that? No? Okay. Can you give me the story on that at least, how that would work?
This is public comment, and so it's not a Q&A. I'll let you speak.
I understand that, but it's
and-
part of the process to me in terms of if you, whatever you're deciding is
And
definitely going to make an impact.
David Kellogg, raise your hand. He can help you with all your questions.
That's good. That's good. That's all I want to know. But I mean, we're not here to attack anybody. We just got a lot of questions because that's a lot of land that's right there around us. And I totally understand all the sides, but you know, we still live there. We need our representation, our voices heard as well. So that's all we're asking, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
My name is Brenda Lees. I live at 1078 Robertson Road. I've been up here a few times, and I'm against the annexation. I've lived in that house for nearly 29 years, and I'm not a politician. I don't understand a lot of the processes here, but I remember coming here probably 29 years ago when Joanne Graves was a member of the council, and we were against developing what now is like Monticello Street. So I've seen a lot of change around our area, and I know that there is a subdivision coming in at the end of Robertson Road across 25. And, you know, we've said this before, we can't make left-hand turns onto Hartsville Pike off of Robertson unless we have some time to kill. And that's going to add to the traffic. And annexing that far out, I don't understand why it's come to this. I don't understand why you all can't concentrate on the developments in the city limits that have already been approved, that have not broken ground, to see if this is needed. I mean, it's like we're going to be surrounded by the city limits, and that's not why we moved to that area. It's was to be in the city. And even though we're not in the city limits, we're going to be surrounded by the city. So, you know, I just ask that you really consider this and do the right thing. One of the greatest men I ever worked for was an oncologist, Dr. Eric Raisky, and he used to tell me, Brenda, you can't go wrong if you do the right thing. And I don't think that this is the right thing to do at this time. I mean, maybe I understand they want to sell their property. It's their right to do that, but I don't know if it's their right to rezone it and to have it annexed at the cost of what it's doing to our community out there. So I ask that you not move forward with this annexation. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's good to see you.
So this will be the most low-tech presentation y'all have ever had, because I literally got in my car this afternoon and I just drove around and took pictures of Peach Valley Road, Woods Ferry Road. But the reason I did that is because I grew up out there my whole life.
You
I
need to
learned-
give your name and address
Oh,
for
I'm
the
sorry.
record, please.
Lina Marler, 1512 Cherokee Road, sorry. So anyway, I grew up there my whole life. I learned to drive on these roads in the 70s. You know, they really haven't changed. The pictures that you see, I go out of Cherokee Road, which is the closest road to where this neighborhood will come out on Peach Valley. You go down a steep hill, you have guardrails, you go across the lake, you almost go into some people's front yard. You can't avoid that. Then you go up what we always call Kirkpatrick Hill. Kirkpatrick Estates is on the right, completely blind hill. Then you go down a steep hill to the highway, and you have I think an old rock quarry. There's no guardrail. Everyone's complained about it. It's kind of scary. Took pictures of that. Then I took a picture when you go back up the hill, over the blind hill. You'll go back down the hill, you'll see Woods Ferry. Now, if this neighborhood comes in, most people won't go that way because the traffic's going to back up, and they're going to go Woods Ferry. So I gave you a picture of the Cedar Grove community. As I drove there today, this guy waves at me, and it's just a nice little neighborhood. People's houses are close. I mean, it's an old place. Curvy Road, Woods Ferry. So that's what's going to happen is, that's where all your traffic's going to go, because otherwise people, over 2,000 cars will back up trying to get at the 109 light. So then I drove around town, I ran some errands, and then I came home, and I was at the Bank of America, and you all know about Peninsula Drive. I wasn't involved in local politics, but he had to take them back out. They didn't work. So I thought about Peninsula Drive today because Lock 4 is going to be a nightmare. Lock 4 is already a nightmare because I lived there 2 years ago. After I sold my home, we lived there for 5 months, 5 homes from that intersection. You cannot pull out of your driveway between 4 and 6 o'clock. So with the Planning Commission, when they said, well, we'll just go ahead and approve it, and it's a D-plus intersection.
Mayor and City Council, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is David Klein, and I live at 398 Branham Mill Road. I think the properties I want to address is annexation of Cecil Farm and the property just adjacent to it. As you probably know, most of the citizens out there in my district of the county are against any annexation. So I want to represent them in stating that. However, this is the second or third time I think I've spoken to the annexation of those properties. And if you're bound and determined to annex them, I think most of the people out there that I've spoken to would prefer the light industrial. And in fact, I will go a step further. I would encourage you to make both properties light industrial. I think the impact on the community would be less. I would also strongly encourage you to make it multi-use, where a lot of those businesses out there have to go into town for lunches, for anything they need, that you would encourage some commercial retail and some restaurant on those properties so that it can become its own entity, thereby creating jobs for the people that live in the area, places for them to dine, places for the business people out there in the older industrial complex and this new one, a place to dine. And it would become its own center. So I just want to remind you that the last time I spoke against this, you don't have, or at the time you didn't have the proper EMS support. So you might consider having the developer provide you land for fire department, police department, perhaps ambulances, and that you will consider all of those other things. Also, storm drain control is very bad out there. There will need to be serious hydrology studies that will be needed to do, and that because it would be light industrial and there would be large semis going into the project, that none of the exits would dump onto Berry or Carolyn Lane. So thank you for allowing me to speak. Appreciate it.
Evening, my name is Mary Janung. I live at 1100 Lock 4 Road. I've been up here probably, I don't know how many times, I can't recall. It's been a lot. and I'm here about the annexation out at the Green Farm. We have a very big concern out there about the traffic. It's okay if you don't want to look at me, I'm good with that, but I would like to say that we have a very serious traffic problem out there, and it's dangerous. It's going to be unsafe. It's going to be unsafe for all the people that drive out there and the people that use it as a pass-through. It's already used as a, almost like a state road. I'm not going to say anything about a comment that was made about a traffic study that was out there, that was emailed among your group. I don't believe in throwing people under the bus, but I really want you to take us serious. We are very, very scared of what's going to happen out there. We don't feel like we are represented in a way of our council. We've been called selfish. We have a lot of people coming from Nashville, moving into, or just even coming here to cause trouble. One of my homes in northern part of Gallatin was shot up on Thursday night. A young woman with her 3 children were in that home, and she was in the parking lot in the driveway. And it's a problem here. We have too many people. We don't have enough services. And I know you've been beat to death about that, but it was real to me that Thursday night when I got that call from my young lady that rents from me. I've tried very, very hard, my husband and I both, to provide homes for people at a cost where I didn't make hardly any money from it. I gave them an opportunity. And I felt that it was my responsibility as a good citizen to do that. But I feel like you guys are failing us. We don't feel like we're getting our voice heard. And it's unfair. I get you need these developments, I guess. I don't know why you need all these developments, but it is absolutely ruining this town. And I have had people tell me they're moving, they can't stand it anymore. I don't know. I feel like I'm wasting my time up here, but I've always been a fighter, and I really want to say that I'll continue to fight until I'm dead. But I just want to thank you for the time that you've given all of us to speak, all of us in the community here. But please hear what we're saying to you. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak under public recognition on agenda-related items? Seeing no one, I'll...
Barbara Harper, 1266 Woods Ferry Road. I really have a problem with the traffic out our way also. It's very dangerous. Drive out there, and if you had another 300 or 400 cars, there's going to be a lot of deaths out there on those roads. There's people drive crazy in this town already. I've almost been hit 3 times just going to Kroger's. And they're not paying attention. The roads are dangerous, and those country roads are even worse. But my other problem is too is the 109 traffic signal south stays backed up all the way just forever. I don't understand the decision making there to have one lane going south at that light when people are from out of town come to that light, and it's just a standstill because they don't realize it goes into one lane. I don't understand that. Then you're going to add more traffic going Clear Lake Meadows Boulevard. It's just, you've got to add another lane on that. There's an empty corner there. I can't understand that. It's dangerous. I live there. I hear the screeching of tires. Anyway, I just don't think our town needs any more traffic. I don't think it needs any more housing until the homes are rented, what we have sold. It just needs to slow down a little bit. It's too much. I don't know if Nashville is pushing y'all for these sales to hurry up and get so much in here to help them. I don't know what that deal is, but as it needs to slow down a little bit. Our schools can't handle it, our roads can't handle it. That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, public recognition on agenda-related items is closed. I have a few comments this evening under mayor's comments. First of all, this Thursday, we're going to be recognizing a very special employee who has given 39 years of dedicated service to this community. Wade Bruce has been working in our park system, taking care of our parks, with a lot of dedication and a lot of love for what he does. And we're going to be really sad to see him leave. 39 years, that's a long time in one place. But we're going to be celebrating him this Thursday from 2 to 6 at the Gallatin City Center. So come by and congratulate him and wish him well on his retirement. This Friday is Good Friday. Most offices will be closed. There is also this Friday the VIP Easter egg hunt at Miracle Park. It's closed to the public between the hours of 10 and 2 so that they can have the VIP egg hunt. On Saturday is Mr. Carter's egg hunt, or the Clearview Park egg hunt. That happens from 12 until 5 p.m. Skipping ahead a week past Easter, on the 14th and 15th is the Market in the Park at Triple Creek Park, and the Gallatin Farmers Market will be having their spring plant sale on the 15th. And I believe that is all that I have this evening. And we will move on now to the regular agenda. So the first item on the agenda is second reading on ordinance 02301-8, and Councilman Fan is recognized to present that, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, Tennessee, approving a preliminary master development plan for Griffin Farm North, a mixed-use development on 40.26 plus or minus acres, portion of a parcel PO Tax Map 125, parcel 019.00, located south of Long Hollow Pike and east of Greenlee Boulevard, authorizing the revision to be indicated on the official zoning atlas, repealing conflicting ordinances, provided for severability, and provided for an effective date, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fan, second by Councilwoman George. Or is there any questions or any discussion? Mr. Givance.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to remind you all that you don't have to vote yes because somebody tells you to vote yes. You can abstain. That's your right. That was voted down by this council and brought back by fear of legal retaliation. I have nothing against the Griffin family or their legal team. I actually think Mr. Cook is really good at what he does, and that's why he's here. And that's why we got a letter from the Griffin family, and we have them here today, because he probably realized that if that goes to court, like we got told, he may be not going to win. He can't sue us individually, and he has been there listening to us, some of us, talking about what's happening there. I'm glad they talk about the trash on the property because you don't know, I actually offered to remove that trash, call our department head asking him how to do it, and because I was on the right away, the city took care of it. But I saw that trash and I got really annoyed about it because that's not fair. That's not fair for anybody. People dump trash on my property too, and I don't like it. So again, the city took care of it. That was great. And now there's a gate. I'm at several points all this time, and I think that project, the way it is right now, will impact the safety and the welfare of our citizens. TDOT, who's the ultimate expert on traffic, shows that Long Hollow Park is oversaturated. Per the now retired Sumner EMS chief, who's the ultimate expert on his department, EMS services are stretched. Police Chief Bandit, who is the ultimate expert there on police, is still understaffed. Yes, you are, Chief. City services, per our HR numbers, while the ultimate expert on jobs for the city, show us we're stretched. And to use your own words, Mayor Brown, who are the ultimate expert in city matters, you say the city is struggling to absorb what is already within the city limits. If we have to follow the experts are giving us a message. I understand the fact and respect that the owner have the right to do what they want with their property, but we have an obligation to protect our citizens. We all took an oath to do that. It's our right as council to make demands if necessary. We asked for a traffic study and they refused. We asked to get the commercial part first and they refused. They asked for exemption and they got them. When it will impact our residents, it's our duty to ask questions and get answers. The zoning was approved in 2010 and a lot of things have changed since. It was approved with the intent to be developed as a commercial spot, not residential. All Greenleaf was supposed to be a commercial corridor, and we need commercial, more than residential. We need to protect the area until we are sure we will not put ourselves and our citizens in a bad situation. It will be too late to fix it. I asked question about the plan for Longolo Park, never got any answer. They're planning an entry directly in front of Buckingham Boulevard. I don't know if you go there, but I drive there every day. So I can assure you that's not a good place to be. It's really busy. And it's a cut through to Highway 25. So people come there, cut through Buckingham. And the first thing they have there on this entry is a drive-through restaurant. That's not gonna help. I need answers. Again, I have nothing against them. I have nothing against the developer. I look at the plan. It's well done, it's a good plan. But, you know, we got told they're gonna build the commercial part. I think they're honest, but we saw what happened with Hunter Point back there. They were supposed to build commercial, and now we have mainly apartments. I know some of you won't agree, but I still want to make a motion to defer for 30 days until I get answer from engineering about the impact on Longolo Park. And I want to make it clear, I'm not trying to deny the project. I want time to evaluate the impact on Longolo Park for the safety of our citizens. So I make a motion to defer for 30 days.
Motion to defer? Motion dies for lack of a second. Is there anyone else with any comments? Ms. Love?
You know, when this first came up, I don't believe you were here that night, Mayor. When this first came up, Craig made the point of we need to be really careful of the way that we zone things, because at the time that this was zoned, we probably were very happy to have everything that they had asked for done. And, you know, now we've got plenty of apartments. I think that everybody on this council agreed that night that we didn't like the project. And when it came time for a vote, I voted against it and immediately knew that I was probably doing something I shouldn't, because we had listened to all of our experts, police, you know, everybody, all the department heads had said there's no reason that we cannot support this project. We listened to our legal representative who said the very same thing. And so when it came back, I just feel like this is different from most of our requests. They're not asking to be rezoned. It was rezoned already. we can't really take that away from these people. It's not the right thing to do. Do I like this project? No. But it was done 10 or 12 years ago. Our legal representative here for the city says that there is no reason for us to deny them. So I feel like we have to take her advice.
Anyone else with any comments?
I'd like to say something. I agree exactly with what Ms. Love said. I voted against it the first time it come out. I just didn't think we needed more apartments. But after talking to legal advice and knowing that the people has property rights that we cannot take away from them, I feel that I'll have to vote for this, even though I don't want to. That's it.
Anyone else? Mr. Giovanni?
Thank you, Mayor. I was talking about the commercial part, and I would like to make sure the commercial part will happen. So I would like to see if we can do something like we did on the Chandler Park Marketplace to add that the commercial part need to be done at the same time that the residential. And that was done at we did it for the hotel and the residential on the other side. So I'd like to see if we will do that. So if somebody will, I want to make a motion to add that in the approval of the development.
Saying that he wants to make a motion to ask the developers if they would do the commercial first.
No.
At the same time.
No,
At the same time.
start at the same time that the residential, like we did for Chandler Park.
I don't recall if the Chandler Park was a condition of the zoning. I don't recall. Ms. Hamacali?
There is a condition that the hotel
Mr.
must
McCord,
be.
do you happen to recall? You don't have to get up, just nod or shake your head if you like.
Bill McCord, city planner. The property at Chandler Park was rezoned. So parts of it were MU and C. So there was a zoning involved at that time. And there was a requirement that the hotel essentially be done simultaneously with the apartments. The rest of it didn't have a time limit or a requirement for construction prior to the apartments.
Okay, to allow the rezone. Okay, so there's a motion to ask the developers, okay.
I'll
Motion-
second that motion.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Okay, Ms. Kittrell, would you call the roll on the vote, please?
Vice Mayor Love,
Yes.
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
No.
Councilman Fennell,
Yes.
Councilwoman George,
No.
Councilman Hayes, Councilman Juvance.
Yes.
4 yeses, 3 nos.
Okay, so I have 4 people saying they want to ask the developer if they're willing to do that. And so I guess without objection, if the developer feels like they would like to answer that question tonight, I would welcome you all to do so.
Good evening, folks. Marty Cook on behalf of the owner and developer. As Mr. McCord said, and I was on the Chandler Park project as well, and that was a rezone, and so that was a condition that we agreed to as part of that rezoning process. This one is not. However, what the family has always agreed to is that the areas that are designated as commercial will always be designated as commercial. They will not come back and seek for those commercial areas to ever become residential areas and to add housing in the areas on this plan that are designated as commercial. Mr. Gentry, one of the engineers, is here. The way this project is laid out, it will be impossible to do the commercial first because there has to be the infrastructure from the other part of the project to be able to support the commercial.
To clarify, I think the question was simultaneous, just to be clear.
I'm going to let the expert talk about engineering. If I may, Cal Gentry, Civil Land Company. We will start the commercial just as soon as we can, but we have to get the sewer and we have to get the stormwater through the apartment site before those sites are viable to do anything with. We already have interest and we're ready to start. We just have to get those lines in the ground and operational before we can start. So we will go as soon as we can, but it don't do us any good to finish those lots off while we're waiting on utilities to come through the site. So if that answers your question, that's the only reason we're not starting those at the exact same time. We're just waiting on sewer lines.
Thank you for answering. I appreciate
I'd
it.
like to say something here too, Mayor.
Mr. Fan, you're recognized.
If a business is coming into town, they want to see that it can be supported. If we make them start it simultaneously, we could end up with some empty buildings for a while. The businesses want to know that the population is coming. I think they should be allowed some time to start their commercial after they start their residential in their apartments.
And also too, if I'm not mistaken, back a month or so ago, 2 months ago, y'all had brought this up before about the infrastructure. So this has been addressed.
What was brought up during the public comment too, one of the
Yeah,
speakers
this,
said that.
this was addressed, the issue about the commercial starting at the same time, that was addressed.
Yes, it was.
Y'all remember?
I remember it now, Craig.
Yeah, it was addressed.
Anyone else wish to speak before we vote?
I will say, I think Steve made a good point there.
Okay. This is second reading on ordinance 02301-8. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no.
No.
Passes 6-1. Item number 2 is second reading on ordinance 02303-22. I'm thinking this is going to be an easy one, Vice Mayor Love.
Hopefully it's easy. This is an ordinance appropriating $26,215 for the construction of the Airport Road and Cairo Road traffic signal and moving project funds from engineering's budget to the signal budget. I definitely move for this.
Yeah, I too.
Motion by Vice Mayor Love, second by Councilwoman George. Are there any questions, any discussion?
I would like to reiterate what I said before. I think this light needs to be turned to a caution light after 7 p.m. There's not enough traffic coming out of that road to warn it, making people stop, and you've got deliveries coming in and out on that road.
I would recommend that we defer to our experts as they do their study and figure out what runs best. And there's also traffic guidelines on, what it has to do with clearance.
It may not work, but
Yeah.
it just makes common sense to
Yeah.
me.
It may work, it may not, but I'm sure they will look at it, and they have your
We need to
direction.
look at two others too. The one at,
Mr. Wagner's nodding. He will relay. Perfect, thank you. Okay, this is second reading on ordinance 02303-22. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes second reading unanimously. Item 3 is second reading on ordinance 02303-23. Councilman Carter.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. This is an ordinance to vacate right-of-way on Randolph Circle located on the Vertrees Terrace subdivision. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Carter, second by Vice Mayor Love. Any questions, any discussion? This is second reading on ordinance 02303-23. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Is unanimously approved. Item 4 is first reading on ordinance 02304-24. Councilman Hayes.
Yeah, this is an ordinance awarding bid and authorizing funds in a total amount of $3,490,000 from water sewer 2021 bond sales for Bay Point Lift Station replacements, contract 123. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilman Carter. Is there any discussion?
That was a second by
Okay, I'm
Councilman
sorry.
Javance.
Councilman Javance, second by Councilman Javance. I apologize. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. First reading on ordinance 02304-24 passes unanimously. Item number 5 is first reading on ordinance 02304-25. Councilman Fennell.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance appropriating funds in the amount of $66,000 for fueling systems. And that's so that we can monitor the fuel that's being dispersed to the employees or department heads, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fennell, second by Councilman Hayes. Any questions, any discussion? This is first reading on ordinance 02304-25. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. It does pass unanimously. Item 6 is first reading on ordinance 02304-26. Councilman Javons.
First reading, ordinance 0230426, appropriating funds in the amount of $115,000 for golf course operation and $60,000 for new parks and recreation software. And I move.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilman Javons, second by Councilman Carter. Any questions, any discussion? This is first reading on ordinance 02304-26. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Passes unanimously. Item number 7 is resolution R2210-71. Councilman Fan.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution authorizing donation of Thompson Park ball field lots to the city of Westmoreland. Also move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fan, second by Vice Mayor Love. Anyone? Okay, this is resolution R2210-71. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. That's passed unanimously. Item 8 is resolution R2302-13. Councilwoman George.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, Tennessee, authorizing the property owner and applicant to submit an application for annexation into the city of 230.34 plus or minus acres east of Lockville Road and north of Peach Valley Road. I so move.
Motion by Councilwoman George, second by Councilman Hayes. Is there discussion or questions?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and this is just for them to do an application for the annexation. That does not mean it's going to be annexed or anything like that. It'll still come back before us, correct?
Yes.
Correct. And also, because I asked the planner today about this, because I was concerned, but just because the planning department or planning commission changed it from rural to suburban in that area, that does not mean that they can come back and they have the right to go in there and put 800 homes on 230 acres. Because if this does come back and we do annex it, I'm one to say that I'm not going to go in there and let them go over 2 per acre.
5 homes an acre, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to let them go over, half-acre lots. I would not let them do that. Acre lots or half-acre lots would be the max I would do. So I just want everybody to know that.
Motion by Councilman Hayes. Oh, wait, no, we already had motion in a second. You were discussing. Any other comment by anyone? Councilman Javons.
Thank you, ma'am. I was at the planning, and I have to say I left. I don't know what I thought when I left. I think I was ashamed of what I saw. I attended all the meetings and heard all the citizens talking, and I saw people doing a 180 on 1 week, changing their tune and passing that change of character area. We did beat that horse again and again and again. I agree with Councilman Hayes. We should not approve anything more than half acres load. But again, if I look at what's proposed, they already talk about R6 high density, 7 or 15 dwellings per gross acre of the site area. And again, I've mentioned that several times. I still have an issue with the way we do business, considering gross instead of net. Because I think we should use the same standard we have from some PRD regulation where we actually use net to compute the lots. And I think we should do that here. I looked at the plan again. Thank you, planning, for sending it to me. That was not on a packet, but when I see the plan say it's 3 units per acre, that doesn't look like 3 units per acre. The lowest density all around is few lots that are 15, majority is R40. So, you know, again, it's the first step, but we know it's going to come back. I think that should stay in the county right now. And again, they can develop in the county. They're going to have to follow county. They're still going to come in the city, spend their money, because that's what they will do. But again, all the roads around can support that. So what are we going to do? When we talk about infrastructure, we talk sewer, water, gas, but we never talk about roads. You know, I campaigned there, I drove that road a lot of times, and I agree with citizens, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous road. When I stopped at houses on the right to get out of there, that was some work. It's bad business for everybody. I don't think we should do that. And like I say, even half an acre lot, that can seem too much. But where the traffic is going to go when they're going to build that, that's going to go on Log 4. You're going to have dump truck going up and down Log 4 all day long. That's not going to work. I disagree with that project. We should not annex.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes. I've spoken to quite a few people that live out that way, and the consensus is none of them want to be annexed into the city. They want to preserve that character of that area the way it is. They understand that probably that it will be developed, but they want to have as much green space left as possible. And I understand what they're talking about, because that's one of the entrances to Gallatin. And I want it to be green and beautiful the way, as much as possible myself. All of us that grew up around here know about the roads out there. We know about Woods Ferry. We know about Lock 4. I remember at one point a car crashed into a church out there. Y'all probably remember that. I remember my several friends I had that wrecked their cars and went into a creek along that road someplace. I think that road is windy and has lots of dips. It is a dangerous road to add a lot more traffic to. I know that, I understand what Craig is saying about not voting for a high-density area, but we don't have any assurance of when this is going to come back to us. We may not even be on council at that time. Somebody else may that is all for putting as much as possible on there. So I think personally that I would rather it stay in the county too.
To be clear, no one is annexed unless they wish to be. That is state law. So an annexation like this could not affect any other property owners. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea from what you said. So.
Oh, I didn't mean to infer that in any way.
Okay, anyone else? Mr. Fan.
I'm going to go out of the box a little bit here. We're looking at 200-something acres. If we decide we don't want to annex this and it stays in the county, I'd like to see this property put to a vote where the city and the county go in together and turned into a park.
I'd love it. I'd love that. I think we'd all love
You're going to have a vote, though, and, people are going to have to pay the taxes for it. I see that as the best alternative.
I talked to Kirkpatrick about doing something like that. He's open to it. We just need to put everybody together to do some kind of outdoor sport complex, because we need soccer field, we need sport complex. I approach an equestrian company because they're always looking at giant properties to do and I will bring you a picture, Mayor, so you can see what it is, and that brings a lot of money. So I agree with you. We need to look at alternative things.
I just say we put it to a vote to let the citizens decide. If they want it that bad, we pay the taxes and go on.
I don't know if we can afford that, though.
Well, he's saying put it on a referendum and let the, tell the citizens if they want to vote for $1.50 tax increase on top of the 80 cents they're paying, which is probably about what it would take to maintain that, and vote for it, which I think that would be a hard sell. I mean, I'd love it, but I just don't see it happening.
It'd be a hard sell, but I mean, we can vote to leave it like it is if we own it.
Well, next referendum's almost 2 years away, so
I do.
there's a goal. So, okay, anyone else? This is Resolution R2302-13. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, a roll call vote, please, Ms. Kittrell.
Vice Mayor Love,
No.
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilman Fennell,
No.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilman Juvance.
No.
4 yeses and 3 noes, Mayor.
Okay, we have deferred item number 9, which is the resolution related to the far out Hartsville Pike. And we come now to Resolution R2303-31. Vice Mayor Love.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. Thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, Tennessee, authorizing the property owner and applicant to submit an application for annexation of 68.4 plus or minus acres. I'm sorry, I think I'm losing my voice. Into the city located south of Hartsville Pike and east of Carolyn Lane. And I move for discussion.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Love, second by Councilman Hayes. Opening the floor for discussion.
Once again, this is just an application for them to submit an application for annexation. We are not annexing it anytime soon, so that's the only thing that they're doing. I just want to make that clear.
And I understand that, but to me, this is adding to sprawl. I drove out there today, and I had kind of forgotten how far away it is from, it's about a half mile from city limits, and it's at least the sign for city limits. Like I've said many times, that the road on Hartsville Pike is very hazardous as it is. I don't think anybody really wants to be in the city out there, so, I've said all this many times before.
Anyone else?
They were asking to be annexed.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I still have an issue with the contiguous annexation there. I contacted Suzanne about that, and she told me today she was waiting for a bunch of information.
Well, that was mainly on the other property, but as I discussed with you, I did talk to MTAS, and they did say that that road was annexed in, and it's annexed in, and that would make it contiguous. So she told me that that was contiguous. It was really the second property that has been deferred tonight that had the issue as to whether it is contiguous or non-contiguous, and whether it can move forward for annexation at this time or not.
Thank you, Suzanne. I still think we could not annex the road, but when I read the law, but I'm not a lawyer. I agree, Craig, again, it's just to push it forward, but if we push it forward, that start the work, and planning had to start working on it and spend time. So if that's something we don't think should happen, we should stop it right there so we don't give work to planning. I love that word, done it all. I think that's the best word we use there. We're not supposed to do done it all, if I follow well, for all these years. And That's a Donator right there. They want to do R15 PRD, and if I look at the zoning ordinance, 609-120, we talk about relationship to the surrounding residential neighborhood. It's a PRD district shall be harmonious and not conflict with the surrounding residential neighborhood. It shall be so planned, designed, and constructed so to avoid undue traffic congestion in the surrounding residential area and provide a satisfactory relationship of land use in connection with the surrounding area. So we all know it's going to add a lot of traffic. Everything around is R40. It's big lots, so that's not going to do it. And I think one citizen made a comment that we need to take care of the city first. I heard for years now we're talking about the revitalization, I think the word is right, of soft water. I would like to see us, doing something there instead of worrying about what's outside of the city, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would love that. Again, Mayor, I have to cite you, and you said the city is struggling to absorb what is already within the city limits because we have allowed too many of these annexations to happen. So what changed since you told us that? And Councilman Hayes, when the Green Farm came for annexation, you asked to be deferred until the change of character area was approved. This is rural residential on the plan Gallatin, so I think we should do the same. If we don't think that's going to work, we should shut it down right now and let them go to the county and keep the county in the county.
Mr. McCord, can I ask you a question? On their plan they presented last week, week before, whenever it was, what was their zoning on this going to be?
They were looking, I believe, for R15 PRD, 118 units on the 68 acres.
How many?
118.
And can I interject for just a moment? I just want to remind the council that we are not approving zoning. Even, I mean, this is their proposal. Doesn't mean that if it gets annexed, you have to approve what is, so zoning comes after.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, and I just don't want to waste anybody's time if that's what they're presenting.
I understand, but we keep
I'm not
talking about
gonna-
the zoning. I just want to make that clear for everyone here that
I think we know
even if
that.
something gets annexed in, it doesn't mean they're going to get the zoning that's requested.
What does that come out per acre?
That's
Or
just under 2
usable
units an
acres.
acre.
What?
Under 2 units an acre.
Is that for usable acres, or is that for the
No, I don't know what
entire
you
thing?
mean by usable. So it's people's yards, their streets, their stormwater facilities, their buffer yards. So, I mean, this is a conceptual plan. I'm sure their plan will be quite a bit different. So it would be just a wild guess.
Well, if it's got,
We don't have a term called usable land.
I mean, if there's challenges on that land, then it's going to be certainly more than 2 houses per acre, I would say.
Well, the R15 PRD encourages preservation of a % of that property for open space. And it also, to make up for that, it encourages clustering of development. So you can have lots that will be less than 1 acre or a half acre in size. But overall, the density of the property would then be just under 2 units an acre.
Well, even since we're not really talking about zoning at this point, will again say that I feel like that we are encouraging sprawl by going that far out.
This, and you'd mentioned that, I wanted to make a point. The farthest distance in the city from the middle of town, courthouse, is all the way out on Highway 31 at the Hendersonville city limit line. And that line was established in 1971. So The north side of town, out Dobbins Pike, and the east side of town, those properties are a lot closer in than some of the properties you may perceive of that are on the west side of town from the center of town.
Like the Hunt Club.
Which we don't have
And I've
any,
showed y'all that map before.
Yeah.
It's concentric circles showing you how far it is out from the center of town.
which we don't have any parks and recreations on the west side of town anyway, by the way. So just going to throw that out there.
Okay, any other comments? This is resolution, whoops, sorry, yeah, okay, resolution R2303-31. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we don't have,
right,
we don't
thank
have a
you,
motion.
thank
I was getting
you.
ready to stop you.
Yes, that's
Is
right,
Ms.
it was
Love-
for discussion.
Vice Mayor Love, move for
Do
discussion.
you need a motion for approval? If that's your will.
I move for approval.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilwoman George. Any discussion on that? I think we've discussed it. Okay, resolution R2303-31. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
Okay, a roll call vote, please, Ms. Kittrell.
Vice Mayor Love,
No.
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Councilman Fan,
Yes.
Councilman Fennell,
No.
Councilwoman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilman Juvance,
No.
4 yeses, 3 nos, Mayor.
Resolution R2303-31 passes 4-3. Item number 11 is resolution R2304-33. Councilman Fennell.
We're here with Jim Agee in the kitchen at Chef's Market.
I know where that came from.
Okay, are we ready? This is a resolution of the City of Gallatin, Tennessee, authorizing the City of Gallatin to join the state of Tennessee and local governments in amending the Tennessee State Subdivision Opioid Abatement Agreement and approving the related settlement agreements. I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fennell, second by Councilman Juvance.
Now, I hate to say this, I guess somebody refresh my memory what this is about.
This is the opioid settlements with the various companies. We've been going through a lot of them for the past several years. This one including a couple of them, require a resolution from the council to participate.
Okay.
And it's where the city would get some portion of funds to use towards the impact of opioid abuse in our community.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Resolution R2304-33, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Passes unanimously. Item number 12 is the approval of the expert panelists for the HR director interviews. And our panelists for those interviews with your approval will be our city staff attorney, LaTisha Alexander, our finance director, Rachel Nichols, Carl Sells, who's the HR director at the city of Cookeville, Sylvia Reichley, who's the HR director at the city of Lebanon, and John Grubbs from MTAS. And that panel was put together by Mr. Grubbs from MTAS.
Motion for that?
Sure.
I move we approve.
Motion by Vice Mayor Love, second by Councilman Hayes. All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. It is approved unanimously. Next week, I will bring you the list of the finalists once we have those, and then the following week, we will be conducting interviews. So that concludes the regular agenda and brings us down to other business. I do have some items, but I would ask first if any member of this council has any other business. Mr. Juvance.
I know. I would like to, you guys start thinking about the COLA, because we're on budget time and I get a lot of questions about it. So if we can start thinking about that and talk about it, cost of living for the employees of the city.
I didn't understand you, Pascal, I'm sorry.
COLA, cost of living for the employees of the city, what we're going to do this year.
Well, I don't understand what you're saying about it.
Cost of living increase.
Well, I
for
get
the-
that, but we'll discuss it in the budget process.
Okay.
The way the budget is done, it's the mayor's job to present the budget, and then the council will discuss and amend, approve. You wouldn't dare. Yeah. Anyone else with other business? Okay. I do have some road closures this evening. This is for historic downtown Gallatin. The first one is for the third Thursday series, which happens in June, July, August, and September. That'd be June 15th, July 20th, August 17th, and September 21st. That's Thursday night. They start at 6:30 PM. They conclude at 9. The road closure request is from 6 PM until 9 PM. And she does have the merchant signature with the exception of Emerald, I can't remember the name of the venue that's over there, but she has since spoken to them, and they are in agreement and in support of the closure for that third Thursday event.
I move we approve.
Okay, and that is those dates as said, and we do have our personnel signatures as well. Any questions? Okay, all in favor, motion by Vice Mayor Love, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, second by Councilwoman George, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. That's approved unanimously. The second request is for April 29th and October 7th. Those are the two festivals on the historic Town Square. Square Fest is in the spring, and Main Street Festival is in the fall. The closing time is from 6 AM until 6 PM, and the closure is Main Street from College Street to Locust Street, Water Street from Smith to Broadway, and the public square from Main Street to Water Street.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Vice Mayor Love. It does have all the signatures of the department heads. So. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, both are approved as of 4-4. That is all that I have this evening. And so now we will move to public recognition on non-agenda related items. You may come forward and speak to an item that's not on the agenda. Again, you will have 5 minutes, and we do ask that you introduce yourself and give us your name and address, please.
Oh, good evening, City Council. It's Patrick Reeners, 317 Malone Drive, and I need some answers too. I've been, over the week, everybody didn't know it because it wasn't in the paper, but I have actually been wrongfully accused of stalking somebody, which I would kind of call it like swatting, like how people would do it to set some people up playing video games, because I would assume that if you walk around in public on sidewalk with signs, that when someone else did it, you wouldn't call the police on them for something you know it's legal. It's called harassment. And I also like to call out people actually admitting on a video that was posted up called Patrick Reeners Exposed. Some genius citizen made that, and I really appreciate it, really. And at the 1.53 second mark, it's something pretty interesting where I kind of admit that I think that someone might need a Second Amendment to protect their First Amendment. And I believe it went down in court paperwork as false with the verb saying use. And people want to come up here and lie and then try to accuse somebody else of committing a crime. Well, I'm not going for it. I mean, I'm going to the till on that. 8, 9 years, Court of Appeals, we're going to the till. Because I know people call comptrollers and accuse people of being involved in the purchase of land, had them investigated, called the owner, and it's all false. All false. And people are filing false complaints around here, which are felonies. Now I have one document of a documented threat or saying someone even was by you, seen you at the grocery store, keeps confronting you. That's a crime. So if the city would please look into these people filing false complaints, this is not good. I mean, some people think they have a different level of entitlement. And as far as I'm concerned, when someone is literally trying to call the police on me because I have a sign and they literally come up here and speak about free speech, I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's like an oxymoron. You know, so besides that, I would really look at that video. The video's name is Patrick Reeners, October 31st, 2:46 p.m. They really took up good detail into identifying. And you'll see someone admit to me threatening some girl named Amanda while someone's talking to a police officer on the phone, trying to amp up the fact that maybe I could possibly be publicly intoxicated, just try to come and get me. So check that video out. You see a lot of truths. See you guys.
Lisa McDowell, 1031 East Nickel Circle. And I know everybody's tired and wants to go home. I want to go home and take my heart monitor off and mail it in, so I'll try to be as brief as I can. I want to address the information brought up 3/7/23 meeting here by Councilman Javance related to comments on social media by a city employee. I didn't ask him to do that. I didn't know he was going to do that. I didn't even know he had seen it. You see, I'm the other half of that conversation. And I think because Councilman Carter thought it was okay because they were defending the city, I need to clarify the content. I had commented on a comment from a Hartsville resident when she said we should pretty much get over what's happening on the south side of town. It's going to happen, just get over it. So I had already privately apologized to this person. During the city council meeting, a county commissioner was one who spoke against annexation on the Green property on Lot 4. I wasn't able to attend, nor had I seen the meeting recording at that time when this social media exchange took place. So I was blindsided by the insults. Then I realized they wanted me and one other person to attempt to silence those speakers who do not live in Gallatin or who are on the county commission seats. I'm going to read that exchange, so bear with me. I'll do my best to keep the person's name out of it, but I'm mad. And before I read it, I want to say it's totally appropriate for an employer. I don't care if you're state, federal, city, whatever municipality you are, it's okay to have a social media policy. I worked for the federal government for 18 years. And believe you me, if I had done what this person did, I would not have a job. I would not have had a job. So the beginning of the comment was, and addressed by name because this is on the neighborhood, whatever the neighborhood thing is. Elisa Mack, with all due respect, please tell the residents of the county and Hendersonville and other communities who come to Gallatin council meetings condemning Gallatin to leave our concern about our town alone. To which I replied, excuse me, the county is affected by what the city does. In your position, you should recognize this. And please don't think it's okay to chastise me or anyone else who has a right to speak publicly. It's not a good look for our city leaders. This employee said, so you're confirming what I suspected, which is if outsiders agree with your opinion, they are welcome to comment. But if they don't, then you have to shut them down. Thank you for confirming your bias and hypocrisy. Nobody has ever called me a hypocrite. I don't like a fight, but I won't be bullied. That's my words. So I said, please don't put words in my mouth. You cannot argue that the county is affected. And don't call me a hypocrite. You actually know better. You worked with me during my tenure at the chamber. You have confirmed your bias to keep the residents, the real stakeholders, from having a say in the future of our community. And your posts say that loud and clear. I can't imagine why you targeted me. I've never had an issue with you in the past. And I'm going to go further to say, if you cannot remain objective or at least tactful, you may be in the wrong position with our city. They write, I am a resident of Gallatin too, and once again, you confirmed that you believe it's okay for people who live in Sumner County but live outside of Gallatin and agree with you to comment. But if they don't agree with you and don't live in Gallatin, then they should leave our town alone. Your words, not mine. The end of it that night was, this is ridiculous. My words. You decided for some reason I can't figure out to target my comments of all those in next door. You're a resident. I am too since 1955. You're paid by tax dollars How about you attempt to respect the residents of our community and find someone else to bully? I'm not that person. I'm furious. I'm furious that it was ignored when Councilman Javance brought it up.
Thank you.
Unheard. I live at 410 Cummings Lane. Business owner at 232 Airport Road. A couple weeks ago, I completed a permit application for closing the road on North Water on Wednesday evening, June 14th. And when I turned it into Mayor Brown's assistant, she said it would be on the agenda for tonight, so I should show up. So,
Oh, no.
Mayor, is this about the car show on the square?
No, 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 no.
not the car show, it's I have 125 cars coming into town for the week. They'll be staying in town for the week and enjoying our restaurants and hotels. But we're gonna see the movie Smokey and the Bandit. You all seen that before, so we do the Trans Ams and Firebirds.
So tell me what it is that you need closed and what the times and,
We've asked for North Water Avenue between Prince Street and East Main Street, as well as the square, to be closed from 5 PM to 10 PM. We're gonna park all the cars on that closed roadway, have dinner from 5 to 7 at the restaurants downtown, and then we're gonna go to the Palace Theater and watch Smokey and the Bandit from 7 to 10, and then we'll leave.
you're saying water from Prince to,
Prince to Main,
okay.
and also the square. And I had all the businesses signed off for me. I went through and talked to each of the
And
businesses.
what's the date?
Wednesday evening, June 14th.
Sounds like a fun night.
Yeah. It's gonna be a great night, and like I said, we're gonna bring about 250 people into
It
town
is
for
a
the week.
a super cool event that's coming up. I'm well aware of the event, but I have not seen the road closure request. I'll tell you what, you've got time on this, and we
Yeah.
will work it out. There are, did you get the signatures from our department heads? Because
So I turned it in, and I was told, and maybe I misunderstood, that it would then be put over to the department heads to review.
Okay.
And then it was gonna be reviewed this evening.
Well,
So
we
that's
have
up to me.
time, since
Yeah.
it's not till June, to get it approved. You don't necessarily have to be here. As we look at it, I'll call you between now and this body's opportunity to approve it if I have an issue or if I think there's something we need to be concerned about. What day of the week? Is that a Saturday?
Wednesday night. The only bad thing is it's the Wednesday before the third Thursday. So it'll be 2 nights in a row that downtown will be asked for some road closures.
Would, would City Hall parking lot be a viable option for y'all? I'm just worried about closing down that road at a time when rush hour is happening.
Yeah, and if that's the fallback, if we could get that whole parking lot, that'd be great. It's kind of the idea of bringing all those classic cars into downtown.
And allowing people to see them.
Hoping the public would want to come down, enjoy the restaurants, and a lot of the businesses, when I was getting the signature, like, you're going to do what? Oh, yeah, we'll stay open. We'll, like Perch and Tennessee Honey and all that.
I just
wanted to see that.
think, trying to get those vehicles parked at that time of day in parking spaces that will likely already be occupied by other cars is going to create a lot of a issue. And I'm thinking that City Hall may be a better option, and I think that we could probably accommodate that in that period of time. We've been really careful with parking, taking up parking areas, but Wednesday night is not a huge high-traffic area downtown on the square. It's not like you're asking for a Saturday or something. So let you and I talk between now and the next meeting or 2 weeks from now and talk about what might best work for you. And then I'll come to this body with the forms when we get that squared away. And I apologize so much, so.
Stuff happens, it's not a
Yeah.
problem. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, we appreciate you, and tell me the name of the event again.
It's the Bandit Run.
The Bandit Run.
Yep.
And this has been all over the country, and it's a lot of Trans Am enthusiasts, but I guess others as well. And so there'll be a lot of people coming in here and doing various runs out of Gallatin to different, like Lynchburg was one location, and
My 30-second elevator speech is, it typically starts in one location and goes to another all over the country every year. This is the first year that we're going to call one town home, so we're going to call Gallatin, Tennessee, our home for a week. We're going to have over 125 cars, over 250 people staying in town, enjoying town, going out to eat, filling up our hotels. And it's an opportunity to let people know what Gallatin's all about and not just Nashville or anywhere else. And I think that the community is going to be amazed at how many beautiful cars are going to be in town for the week. Just enjoying our city, so it's going to be a good time.
What
Y'all
time
do
of the-
day trips out of here. Day
So,
trips to.
Yeah, Sunday, I don't want to take up everybody's time. Sunday, the 11th, will be at my shop, which is 232 Airport Road, from 11 to 4. We invite all of you to come and hang out with us. We'll have all the cars hanging out. Monday, we're going to take a trip down, and I hope I say this right, Natchez Trace into Mississippi, go out for lunch and come back. Tuesday, we're going to go to the Lane Automotive Museum. Then we're going to go downtown Nashville, and then we're going to come back here, and the Sheriff's Department's going to take us for a tour of Sumner County, a Sunset Drive. Wednesday, we're going to drive to somewhere east. We haven't quite figured that out yet. Come back and do the downtown deal here. And then Thursday, we're going to be heading up into Kentucky and then have a final evening get-together Thursday night. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for
I
folks
think
to.
it's so neat, so, yeah.
But I got to figure out parking.
We'll get it figured out. I promise we'll get it figured out.
Thank you for your time. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Anyone else wishing to speak under public recognition on non-agenda related items? Public recognition on non-agenda related items is closed. Before we conclude the meeting tonight, I do have a couple of other special events. Did not get on my list of events from Angela, but Jenna Maddox from Parks and Recreation did send them to me, and they're important, and I want you to know about them. The first one is American Red Cross Blood Drive. That's at the Civic Center this Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. If you're able to give blood, that's a great opportunity to donate here locally. Also on the 8th, which is this Saturday, is the Mid-South Golf Series Parent-Child Tournament at Long Hollow Golf Course. And then also on Saturday at Triple Creek Park, Complex's A&C will be softball tournaments all weekend. The Civic Center is going to be open on Good Friday, on Saturday, April 8th, and Monday, April 10th. They'll be closed on Sunday as usual for Easter. So that's it. That's all. Motion by Councilwoman George, second by Councilman Hayes. All in favor, say aye. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a lovely evening, and I hope you enjoy this weekend celebrating Easter and the rising from the tomb of Christ. Everyone be kind, take care, happy Easter.